With free agency less than 2 weeks away, here are the top 10 players I think the Jets should target.
Jets, Jets!
All right, guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. I love having you here. Don't forget to leave a comment down below to get yourself entered to win the Jamal Adams poster. We are talking the top 10 free agents for the Jets to target. With less than 2 weeks to go before free agency hits, here are my top 10 guys I want us to target. At number 10, we'll get this out of the way nice and easy. Jason Myers, our kicker. We want to get that out of the way. He was a stud kicker for us. He earned himself a bid to the Pro Bowl. It's not easy to kick in MetLife. Let's lock this dude up, keep him for another year. Forget about it. We don't have to worry about kicker in those clutch situations. He's going to make the kick. At number 9, we got Roger Saffold, the 6'5", 323-pound offensive guard from the LA Rams. He spent his entire career with the Rams, and now that we are letting James Carpenter hit free agency, we are going to need to find a replacement. We did not have good production out of that interior offensive line. Saffold graded out as the 9th overall guard in terms of production this past year. When you think 2 guards per team coming in at 9th, pretty fucking legit. Definitely a big fan of him. The Rams are supposed to let him hit free agency now. There was a report that came out earlier this week. I like it a lot. He knows Greg Williams from their time together in St. Louis. Now, obviously, offensive side, defensive side, a little different, but having that connection, a familiar face in the room, obviously never a bad thing here. I think if the Jets are serious about bringing in a running back and protecting Sam Darnold, you got to bring Saffold in. Todd Gurley has had such great production with Saffold there. I think that it would be a mistake not to replace a weakness with this strength. Coming in at number 8, we got the 6'6", 305-pound Mitch Morris, the center from Kansas City. I am totally high on this dude. I am all about this. I was big on Matt Paradis from Denver. I would still be cool with that. But I think when you look at Morris, Hunt was the top rushing leader in the NFL prior to him being released. He is obviously a good run blocker with the way that offense was run. I really like it. I think if you're bringing in Bell or Coleman or whoever the running back's going to be and protecting Sam Darnold, adding this mauler to the front of your line is a must. He also protected Patrick Mahomes, who has that improv style of quarterback play that we see with Sam Darnold as well. Now, obviously, the skill sets are a little different, but I think if you can hold your block a little bit longer, that's going to allow the tight ends and the wide receivers to get open and gain more yardage after the catch. I think breakdowns in coverage are huge. That's why we're seeing this running or maneuverable, moving quarterback style of play really work out. Shore up that center. Don't see any more average snaps from Spencer Long. Absolutely bring in Mitch Morris. At number 7, we got the 6'5", 327-pound right tackle Tyrell Williams out of Carolina. Do you notice a trend? Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. I'm big on protecting Sam Darnold this offseason. I think it's the focal point of our entire offseason this year. When you look at what the Jets' offensive line is going to look like going into next year, you got Shell coming back from injury, and you have Beachum going into the last year of his contract. So the Jets are going to need to address tackle at some point. If you can find a way to bring in Tyrell Williams and allow him to protect either side of the quarterback this year, then maybe next year you can test him out at left tackle or Shell out at left tackle and see how it goes from there. I think as far as a depth signing goes and as far as giving us that protection to allow Sam Darnold to have more time, I think this would be a great signing for our Jets. All right, up at 6, we're going to get away from the offensive lineman. No more offensive linemen, I promise. We're looking at Dante Fowler Jr., 6'3", 255-pound edge rusher from the LA Rams. He started with Jacksonville. The Jets have been tied to this dude since the very beginning. Since 2015, Mike McCagnon tried to draft this dude in the first round. And then this past year, when we had Teddy Bridgewater, we tried to make a move for him at the beginning of the season. Obviously, it didn't work out. I'm high on Dante Fowler. His production hasn't quite been there, so I don't think he's going to be as expensive as a lot of the other free agent pass rushers that we're going to see. But I would totally bring him in. This dude's going to be real young. He's going to be 25 years old at the start of this season. So he is just hitting the prime of his career. I really think that if there's one defensive coordinator that could get the most out of him, Greg Williams, by far, could motivate this dude. Obviously you don't want to pay the dude money to hurt people, but I want this dude sacking Tom Brady every game we play them. So absolutely bring in Dante Fowler Jr. I don't think he's going to cost a crazy ton of money. He'll probably be around the $10 to $12 million range. Make it happen. All right, we're going to stay within that same scope for number 5. We're looking at Trey Flowers, the 6'2", 265-pound defensive end from the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick has used this dude all over the defensive line. He stops the run. He rushes the passer. He can do it all. Over the course of the last 2 years, he has registered 45 quarterback hits and over 60 pressures. Guys, I've said the stat before. If you can put pressure on the quarterback, that is enough to drop their passer rating by 32 points. That is the equivalent of going from a Big Ben to a Blaine Gabbert. Obviously, you don't want Blaine Gabbert, so let's bring this dude in. You weaken a division rival. You strengthen a weakness of yours. We haven't had pass rushers. Go get 2 of them. Let's make this move happen. All right, guys. At number 4, we're looking at the 5'10", 197-pound Golden Tate, the slot receiver from the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a big fan of his. I've watched him for a long time, ever since he was in Seattle. I think this dude is legit. With Jermaine Kearse leaving, we're going to need a slot receiver, and Tate has been awesome. The Jets hired Jim Bob Cooter as their running backs coach, and Tate knows him from his time in Detroit. While they were together in Detroit, when he was the offensive coordinator, Tate registered 90 catches a year and over 1,000 yards per season. So if we can get that production out of a slot receiver, I would be totally on board for it. I like Golden Tate. I would definitely bring him in. I think that if you put him on the offensive line with Enunwa and with Robbie Anderson in that bunch formation, you're going to be able to dictate matchups and pick and choose where you want to throw the ball based on where that linebacker's covering. I think it's a great move. Jets have a need for it. There's a connection with Cooter. Let's get it done. All right, guys, at number 3, you got Tyrell Williams, the 6'4", 205-pound wide receiver from the Chargers. The last few years, he has played third string to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, so he hasn't been getting the targets that you would hope that he would get. But he has the prototypical size and speed to be a number 1 wide receiver. Now, I think he's going to be a little bit more expensive, so I think it's going to be a little tougher to try and get him in here. But I think he gives us the flexibility in the event that Robbie leaves after this year. We have that burner that can go over the top still. I think he's a big red zone weapon. With that 6'4" frame, you have a huge catch radius. This dude can jump over almost any cornerback. The one knock I will say on him is he catches the ball a lot with his body. I'd like to see him use his hands a little bit more. I don't want to have those nightmares of Stephen Hill trying to body catch everything and drop balls. No, Williams has absolutely been way better than Stephen Hill was at any point in his career. So I would definitely bring in Williams. I think he has the potential to grow into the number 1 receiver. If you have the means to do it, maybe not your top overall choice, but I would definitely look to bring this guy in. All right, at number 2, we're going to be looking at Brice Callahan, the slot corner from the Chicago Bears. At 5'9", 188 pounds, he was one of the best slot corners in the game this past year. He allowed a 78.9 quarterback rating when balls were thrown his way. If anyone here knows Buster Screen, we definitely could use an improvement from that. Hopefully we won't have all the penalties and everything we get from Screen. Obviously, we want to let him walk, replace Screen with someone who's obviously going to be a lot better. The one knock I will say on Brice Callahan is the Bears faced by far the easiest strength of schedule in the NFL. So will his production with those receivers match up with higher quality talent? So I think that's the one thing you got to look at, but absolutely I would definitely bring in Brice Callahan if I were the New York Jets. All right, guys, at number 1, we're looking at running back. There's 2 options here. I'm good with either one of them. I really like Tevin Coleman a lot. But this is an absolutely best case scenario. We're going with the hometown favorite, Le'Veon Bell. I want that dude. Jets, whip your dick out on the dance floor and take the prom queen home. I want him. I want it now. I don't care if he's gained all that weight. He'll lose it. Wrestlers lose weight all the time. Now, there's 2 knocks on Bell, right? It's the price, which obviously, if you don't have the money, go with Tevin Coleman. There's not an issue with that. But if you have the money, go out and get Le'Veon Bell. The second issue, offensive line. People are going to bring up the Steelers' offensive line. They're so great. Looks what James Conner did. He's so good. Oh my God, Le'Veon Bell is just, a product of that offensive line. Yeah, okay, great. They're both really good. Guess what? Le'Veon Bell was 3rd in forced missed tackles the last year he played. That means those players were hitting him. It wasn't like he was just running around them from the offensive linemen. This dude is breaking tackles. He can make things happen behind the line of scrimmage that helps you gain those extra yards. He can catch, he can pass block, he can run. The dude has it all. I have no problem going after Le'Veon Bell this year. I don't care about the money. I think that you got Sam on the contract for, 3 years on the cheap now. Go out, get this dog, make Jamal Adams happy. I think it sends a shockwave through the rest of the organization. I think it tells all the players on the roster, hey, we're ready, we're coming now, we are going to go after the playoffs this season. Let's give it our all. Guys, those are my top 10 players I want the Jets to go after. Leave a comment down below with who you want to see us go after. As always, guys, go Jets.